Hello everybody. Today we're going to look into what's new in SuiteCRM 8.9. Okay, so let's go. It seems like there has been some excitement building up about SuiteCRM 8.9, and I can totally understand it because there have been quite a couple of big features which come in very handy and look very good. Let's go through a couple of these and check out what's new and how things are looking and working at the moment. So the new release brings some changes. So before you upgrade to SuiteCRM 8.9 from your existing installation, stop, watch the video to the very end, because I'm going to explain why you should probably be waiting for a little while. So first of all, there's a new scheduler, and you have been working with your cron job before, and now you just have to change the cron job slightly. There is a catch, however. So here's a new documentation on the schedulers, and this is from 8.9 and going forwards. And as you can see, it changed a little bit. So here we can add the environment. Most likely you don't need this or don't need to bother about this if you have just like a standard installation in production and you want to keep this running. And you need to do this one here. So schedulers run. The thing is though, let's go into the CRM system and check this out. So as the standard, you're going into the admin and then you're going into your schedulers. And usually at the very bottom of the page, I'll make this a bit bigger here. And then you've got the details. So as you can see, it changed compared to 8.8.1, for instance. There you had this cron job and now you've got something different here. But the something different is a bit specific, and I suggest doing the following first. So you'll have to go to your server and you will have to be certain under which user your web server is running. Most of the web servers should be running as the www.data user. So that's a standard on most Debian Ubuntu systems, and it should be fine as well. So I'm going into this directory, and then I want to do this manually. And this is very important to do this first from your command line, because then you might discover all sorts of issues. So how do you do this? First, you would sudo. You would sudo into the user www.data, and then you would execute the following thing. So here I am in the root folder of our SuiteCRM system. Okay. And then there's the console application or script, which can then run with these parameters. So if I do this one here, I have one problem. So I need to execute this not as PHP 8.4, which is the standard here under Ubuntu 25. I have to execute this as PHP 8.3. So, and then it's throttled because I'm doing this too often. Okay, but this is totally fine. As you can see, I've got some deprecated warnings, which you can basically ignore, but it's best to not ignore them and use your correct PHP version. Additionally, let me execute the whole thing as a different user and show the problem as well. So now I'm here, my Ubuntu server, just the standard user, and I'm not authorized. So maybe you will get this issue first and you won't get any further. And that's the reason why it's very important to first execute this, see whether you will be able to run the cron job from the command line, and then take measurements. So how do you do this? Difficult, you have to go through this documentation page, and you can see there's an allowed cron users in my config PHP file. Okay, where is it? How does it look like? How do I get it there? The documentation is here. The issue is with the standard installation, this won't be generated into your config.php file. So you will see this here, very fine, but this bit is missing. So and therefore you need to add this. How to find this? In the best case, you would search for cron and then you would find it. So you would go to the VI and you would go to public legacy cron, not cron job, the config.php. So, and it might help if you do this either as root or you would do this as the data user, what I usually prefer, because I'm doing everything as the user. I'm supposed to be this user for working with the data and files inside my SuiteCRM installation. So as you can see, cron, I found the correct entry here, and I had to add this one. So I had to specifically allow www.data to run my cron job. Otherwise, it wouldn't work. So, and therefore, you will need to make sure that this works as well in order to get your cron job running. So then I can go back and run this again here as my www.data user. And now it would work. I won't get the too frequently run, and I won't get the unauthorized user. So very important, if you're upgrading, if you're installing, that might not be in your config.php, and therefore add this manually. I've already logged this as an issue in the issue queue, so therefore we should be good. Additionally, there are some more specific details, like which kind of schedulers. There have been like 4 new schedulers about, and I'm going to get into the detail. Temporary here. These are the new ones. So here temporary files will be cleaned up. Then the campaigns got some redo, some makeover, and then the prune database scheduler and so on that has been moved to Symfony. So there are a couple of new changes, but these changes here would be reflected in the front end. So here you can go as a standard to your front end and look for the temporary files, and then you could say how often do you want to do this. Yeah, and work through these. So far, so good. These were the schedulers. The next enhancement is the campaigns. So here, careful as well. I had to do like 3-4 runs, and it couldn't get it working so far. There were some issues, and that's what I meant with be cautious when you're upgrading. If you're running campaigns frequently, check the issue queue first before you go ahead and start working on this. So on the campaigns, it looks really, really fancy now. So you can start a new campaign, and compared to the a bit old looking campaign wizard from before, you've got this one now. So it's a bit more bleak or like basic. This is just the thing that you need when you start planning a campaign. You don't need much more. The interesting thing is, in case you have multiple target lists, you have like a multi-select here on the related items. Unfortunately, this field is not yet available inside the SuiteCRM Studio. Otherwise, this would be very useful for other areas as well. So here you can select a couple of lists, same for the suppression lists, and then you would be able to go through the campaign. So how does it look like if you're actually working with a campaign? Looks fancy as well. So you've got your associated accounts, leads, and everything here at the bottom. And then you got your campaign actions. In this case, it's a marketing email. You can add transactional emails. And of course, you can add the survey and the survey email, just like before, similar to before as well. So that seems to be somewhat familiar, but overall, the redesign looks very nice, and I enjoy it a lot. The thing is, if you go to this one now, so here as well, a complete redesign. Here we've got our marketing or our campaign action. That's the whole configuration around what's going to be sent out here. You've got all the details, sent, attempt, suppressed, bounced, and so on. Very nice, very neat. It looks really like a significant upgrade, and it was about time that SuiteCRM moves into the direction of we can do email campaigns as well. Unfortunately, it doesn't work at the moment because there are some bugs around the I think the time difference and so on. So again, check the issue queue on SuiteCRM GitHub, and then you will see it when it is fixed, and then you would be able to upgrade and make full use of the campaigns. I'm very excited about it because that just looks very good. It's just about the time when we can make full use of it. So what's coming up next? Here we've got an email compose redesign, and again, really fancy. If I go to, I can close this one here now. If I go to any of my leads, contacts from almost anywhere. I didn't figure out any place where it doesn't work. So I can click on the email here now and I get really a nice, like nowadays window. It's not like this thing where I've been redirected to the other window before. I just get like a small pop-up which can be easily hidden here, and I can keep it there, and it's really great. So there are a couple of great advancements. Let's see, for instance, if I want to CC somebody, and then you might ask like, okay, how does this work now? And if you're searching for somebody, you can actually do CC several people. And as you can see here, we've got this special field again, which we will hopefully have inside SuiteCRM Studio later on as well, which is this multi-relate field. So really great. Same goes for BCC, so it works just in the same way. So if I'm searching for this one, as you can see, I can do this as well. Subject is just like a subject. Here, nothing special. Should be all working as you expect this. So another special new feature. Attachments. You know, before it was a little bit clumsy. You had to upload them somehow. Now you've got the upload attachment feature. I would see like 2 at the same time, and they're showing up neatly here. So really, really good looking. And then, of course, you can add your details, the email body and so on. You would even be able to use a template and work with a template instead of just filling out something here. If you insert template, and then you can select. Of course, now I would need to remove everything that I've written already, but then you can select from the existing templates. The amazing thing is as well, basically should be standard and to be expected. If I select a template, all the variables from the lead will be filled inside my template. That's exactly how it should be. And then I can click on send and the stuff will be sent out. So don't do this now because I'm not want to send PCC to the test data. It's only test data, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. And another neat thing, if I click this one, I will be notified, do you really want to proceed? Because you're going to lose the details here. So this is very good. It just looks like, modern days emailing from SuiteCRM. I've seen that there are some more email improvements on the plan for 8.10. So I'm very looking forward to this one. It feels like this was all a major step into the right direction. How you would suppose to have anything looking nowadays if you're working with campaigns, if you're working with emails. So same here. If you go into this one, you will see that there's a new documentation on the campaigns, and it looks neat, it looks new. There are a couple of specifics now, and especially if you migrate over, if you upgrade from another, from an older version, then there will be some changes as well. So you have to be careful about this one. You can go through this one here, so it's really great and in-depth information. And just be careful for the upgrade. Another thing which is great and yet missing some things is file attachments and field types. So let me show you how that would look like eventually. I've added those here, and as you can see, I've just put another panel here, and then I've created 3 fields. One is the file field, and that looks neat. And then we've got an attachment, which is just a single attachment, and then I've got attachment 2, which is multiple attachments. As you can see, that doesn't look as neat anymore. I've unlocked an issue in the issue queue as well here, so stay tuned for the next version. But if you go into the edit mode, you will see that looks really good as well. So here you would just be able to drag and drop something or click on it and then just upload it. It's so smooth. Upload from files here, exactly what you know already from the emails here, the same things. You would be able to upload multiple files at the same time. And here you can be working with a breakpoint, and then you can see how many are displayed here. So there's another breakpoint compared to here, and then you can adjust the width of this window. Unfortunately, this only works properly in the edit mode, not in the detail view. So therefore the detail view needs to be adjusted or reworked a little bit in order to make this look better here. So how to get those fields? Unfortunately, it's not available in the studio as well. So hopefully we can be expecting those in the studio sooner or later. But you would need to be working via your vardevs at the moment. Vardevs meaning you would create the PHP files, defining all the variables to add it to your SuiteCRM installation into the right position, and then you could be placing it into the layouts from wherever you want to. So, and the configuration example is exactly this. So it expects a type of the file, and then you can have a non-database, and then the media storage. There's something new as well with the storage type. And yeah, you've got different storage types that you can declare here. And the same goes for the attachment. The attachment has a little bit slightly different configuration. As I was saying before, you've got a breakpoint here, and then you've got like the option to make this a pop-up window a bit bigger and smaller. So there is something new as well. Maybe let's go into the releases and see whether we can find this here. So file storage configuration. And here you can now store your file fields on something where it is supposed to be stored. So before it was all in the upload folder, and it was all like a, so I've got a couple of projects where they used the files extensively, and there are like 20, 30, 50,000 files inside the upload folder, which makes it slow. Maybe there are some issues with the underlying Linux file system if there are so many files inside one folder, and it all being stripped of the extensions, or you can't really easily see this. What's the file about? So here, as you can see, you've got several different types of configuration or storage systems now that you can address. Azure, the blob storage, and you can use S3 as well. So very fancy, that's great. And with all the details of how to configure this as well. So pay attention to this one if you're using something around this one already, but you can use the local file storage as well and just store it inside your file system here. Again, we're going full circle back to the very beginning with the schedulers, because if you're uploading something, this will be marked as a temporary file as long as it is not linked to any record. So you're uploading, then it will be a temporary file, and only if you save and it is being linked to your lead, to your account, to your whatever you upload the things, and then the flag will be removed. It's not a temporary file anymore, and it will stay there. If it continues to be a temporary file for 3 days, your scheduler would come and would remove this if you configured it as such. So the multi-relate field, that's what I showed with the target list. You've seen this already. So therefore, yeah, really fancy. Unfortunately, all this, first of all, it's not very available from the studio so far. And secondly, what I see as a trend with many software systems out there, independent whether you want to use Drupal for your customer portals, or you want to use something like Mautic for your marketing automation, software is getting more complicated, more enterprisey, and more helpful or like configurable for you as well. Here, with the fields, with the attachments, and with the multi-relate fields, they are just not available at the moment from Studio. So unfortunately, you would need to go into code. You would need to look into PHP files and really kind of bother with the system. Alternatively, just contact me. Most of the things are not too complicated, not too time consuming, and we would just be able to do like a tiny project to add those fields in your favor in order to help make full use of your CRM system. Another small addition is the default email. So now you can have multiple outbound emails, and one of them can be a default one, which is very handy if you have multiple personal accounts and you want to send from one specific one, then you just mark this as a default one. It could go into a multi-tenant situation. I would still still not use SuiteCRM for multi-tenant installation, but sometimes it happened already in several projects where we have multiple companies all ran basically by the same group, and we just have a couple of different domains, one domain for each company, and maybe even multiple brands. And then you want to keep on brand communication, you want to stay within communication with this domain or email, and then this one makes a lot of sense here. A couple of bug fixes, a couple of development details. I think overall the changes are really amazing. The issue just is it doesn't completely work out of the box when you're installing it. So therefore, for your upgrade with the campaigns, be careful. It might break your running campaigns. You will have to test this thoroughly. With your schedulers the same, so you would need to go back into code. I've already seen it. There was some traction on the issue ticket, so they're working on it to resolve this in order to make this a bit easier. Maybe it will work with the next version, 8.9.1, I assume. And then for the file field, the attachment fields, it's not a big change, but yes, you still need to go into the code. So overall, great UI, great improvements, great user experience in the front end. Unfortunately, for the back end and for the admin, there is not much what we can do at the moment without going into code. If you're comfortable looking into PHP files and moving them onto your server, then you should be totally good to go. And if you're not comfortable, then again, contact me. My team and I will be able to help you. Thank you very much for watching. This is an exciting new release, and I'm curious what's happening next and towards 8.10. See you next time. Bye.